Take me back to 2020 when you met.
Well, when we met, it was kind of random. My oldest sister works with Sai's mom, and they're really good friends. So my sister kept telling me, I know somebody that would be really good for you today. I think y'all would look good together. But at the time, I wasn't ready for a relationship. So she had to kind of hit me up about it more than once. And then she was like, guess who's in town in Arizona? And I'm like, who? And then she's like, Sai's in Arizona. I'm like, Sai, who was that? Remember the girl I told you about months ago?
And from my understanding, I was never aware of this. My mom was talking about me, but never told me she was talking about me. So she knew about me longer than I knew about her. Like, right. I've always been in the back of her mind.
Yeah. I kind of knew about her for a good 7 months prior to.
Which was good. She didn't reach out because I was dating somebody at the time. So when she finally did reach out via Instagram, was like, hey, I know your mom. And my sister said, we'll be good together.
Yeah.
My name is Jess and that. And I said, what's my mom's name? I didn't know, I was confused. She was like, your mom, and she works here. And I was like, okay. I was like, so.
She was asking me a few questions. Well, she asked me a few questions and I was able to answer them right away. So she knew I wasn't, lying about it.
And that's when we proceeded to take the conversation further. And then,
Yeah, I was actually in a relationship before when I first heard about her 7 months prior to. Well, I was getting out of a relationship. So that's why I didn't proceed to reach out to her at the time. So then my sister gave me her Instagram and not her phone number, and I DM'd her. So
You gave me your number.
Yeah.
And then I called you and we FaceTimed for the first time.
Yeah, and then we FaceTimed, yeah.
The same day?
The same day. I was at breakfast with my older sister, and me and my older sister, I'm like, yo, look at this. Like, what you think this is? Like, I didn't know what to make of it. But then I also let her know that I was just getting out of a relationship. For me, it was kind of one of my first heartbreaks. So I wasn't emotionally or mentally stable for a relationship. But she did let me know that I'm dating to marry. Like, I'm dating to get married. Like, I'm not looking to be a girlfriend. So I could never call her my girlfriend. I never called you my girlfriend.
No, I wouldn't allow her
She wouldn't allow me. So after that, luckily my sisters, my nephew and grandparents lived down here, and they were coming to Atlanta, literally in 2 weeks.
No.
That wasn't it?
Exit. I'm going to take over. We were on FaceTime, and she was out drinking with her friend the same day, and she was like, when you want me to come see you? And I was like, when you want to come see me? I said, when do you want to come see me? And then she was like, I could come today, And I started laughing. I was like...
As she could call, I was drinking a little bit with my best friend. So, words is, easy for me.
So she was like, well, I'm going to hit you back about it. Then she hit me back later on that day and was like, my sister... Then that's when the nephew thing came up.
Yeah, I never been to Atlanta, though.
But before then, she was already talking about coming to see me.
I might have been capping.
That same day, she might have been, but she said it. But she made it happen the next day? So
I booked the ticket the next day, and I came down the next week. And she lived in Columbus at the time, Columbus, Georgia. So she didn't live in Atlanta. So Atlanta was our meeting point because I flew in here and with my sister and my nephew, and she drove up, and I got an Airbnb, and it was the first time she came to Airbnb, and we met. I had my nephew at the time too. It was he was my safety net,
Yeah. Well, we had a rule anyway that neither one of us were gonna we didn't get to that later.
We didn't talk about that on the phone call. It was but I have my nephew with me just in case, because when you have two attractive people in a room, you never know what can happen. Yeah. So later on, she kind of threw shade about how I shouldn't have brought my nephew, but she fell asleep before me and my nephew, so it didn't even matter. But and she loves my nephew. She's always talked to him when we send each other snaps and say, "Good morning, Jess. Have a good day."
Well, her nephew plays well with my niece. They're the same age, and they were born 2 days apart. Yeah. I think they're 2 days apart.
Both in Arizona. So
and they're both in Arizona, so that's where the connection goes back to my sister and her family. My nephew plays with her niece, and then my sister and her mom are friends.
It was funny.
And they work together.
It was we were already playing house. Our first time in Atlanta, we had a kid, my nephew, and us two. She took me to get crab legs my first time, and I had my nephew in my arms, and it was me and her. I was like, your family's so beautiful. And this is little did they know it was the first time we met. But people thought,
for sure, thought that he was our kid.
Our kid was already playing house. And
the first day of hanging out.
I don't know. What was that?
Crazy.
What was that you said as soon as you see me? He was like, You just instantly fell in love or something like that? I know for sure. I can say I'm messing with her, but I know for sure I did text. After I seen her and we got a little more comfortable after food, and I was texting my best friend. I was like,
we were playing Uno, and you texted your best friend.
Her ass. And
no.
It was
I
Connect
kicked
4.
your ass
Sorry, Connect 4.
in Uno, and you kicked my ass
But
in Connect 4. Let's get it right.
I text my best friend. I was like, this is the one. Like, I'm gonna marry this woman. And she, of course, being a best friend, best friend know everything about you. Yeah, I heard this before. Okay, yeah. We'll see how long it lasts. And look at us now.
Yeah. So that is exactly how we met, and we've been together ever since.
Okay, so what made you guys feel like each other was the one, seeing that you had recently gotten out of relationships?
Well, you want to go first? You go first.
I mean, for me, okay, I'm an athlete, so I travel a lot, and I kind of date within a certain area range. Caucasian, athletic, people has always came my way. And I've dated a few African American women, in the past, through college and whatnot. But for me, this is the first real African American relationship I've had. So when I was getting to know her and I seen how independent and how strong an individual woman she was, and hearing her story, what she came from and what she made out of herself, to me it was just it was hard not to fall in love with something like that, with someone like this, And it's just we build a foundation of a friendship first, because as we said previously, we both was coming out of relationships. Mine was more recent than hers, but for me, like I said, I play basketball, so it's kind of like a cycle for me. So when I met her, I wanted to let her know that I wanted to take it slow, and I really wanted to understand how to love, and not only myself, but her, the way she needed to be loved. So with that, we said we're not going to have sex until marriage. We're building a friendship. I think we went a solid 2 months of just just building an actual foundation of a friendship, to where when things started to fall quickly, we already had a solid base to build up our relationship with.
Not to mention, I wanted our relationship to be built on spiritual connection. So I introduced her to, church, online YouTube church, that we could watch together being far away. So every Sunday we had this thing where we would watch church on TV together on YouTube, and we would press play at the same time. We would be on the same note, just because I felt like if we didn't have a spiritual connection, we wouldn't prosper. And I just be taken back from previous relationships. I've been a lesbian for going on 15 years. So I've had encounters with all different types of women. I've dated all different types, short, tall, skinny, big.
Never athletic.
Yes, athletic.
Not an athlete though. You say you didn't want to date athletes.
No, I have dated athletes, but I never took athletes serious. So I never wanted to make it serious with the athlete, because one specific athletic person that I dated in the past, which you know of whom, put me through so much that I said I would never date another athlete like that again, and put my trust in another athlete again. So I always had this thing where athletes were a no-goer for me at this point. But that, you got to look at that. That was way in 2010, So coming from then to now, meeting her, I was able to open up my eyes and say, all athletes aren't the same, and to just give her a chance. And the reason why I did so was because, for one, my heart told me so, and for two, everything that I put out there, she was in agreement with. The spiritual thing, the not having sex before marriage, let's meet our family first, let's get connected with this and that before we found love. Everything that I was saying, she was so down for it. And a lot of people you meet are like, what, not have sex? What you mean, let's not have sex? It's always that we connect. And we got to remember, in a lesbian in a lesbian relationship, we find love fast. So I wanted it to not be that way, but be that way. Because we found love fast, but not in a sexual way. I think when you have sex, it gets more intense. It makes you say, I love this person more than you really do, because you've given yourself to them in a whole nother way. If that makes sense.
That makes sense. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry.
No,
Did you answer the question on what made you fall in love with me?
I feel like
Yeah, because we had a spiritual connection.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we had a spiritual connection. Everything that I was agreeing with, you were agreeing with, and everything that I wanted, you wanted.
Gotcha.
And I felt like I finally had someone who matches me financially too. Cause honey.
Yeah.
Okay.
I bet that was a big goal too.
What?
Yeah.
To have somebody match your equal and have the same standards as you, credit, you know, just
What does your partner do to make you feel supported?
You go first with this one.
To make me feel supported.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for one, with me being a basketball player, she's my biggest fan. You know, like she not only rants on and on about me and, you know, whether she's there physically at the game or, you know, 5,000 miles away, she always makes me feel supported when it comes to my career, you know, by just the way she speaks or posts me or she sent me a prayer, you know, before every game and just lets me know how proud she is of me and also tell me how I sucked if I miss my free throws or my jump shots. And I'm like, well, thanks, babe, but she keeps it real.
I'm yelling at the TV when I watch
so
it.
For me, that's it. She's my person. Usually, when I would lose a game, I would hate talking to anybody. I would shut down for like a day. But when I lose a game, she's like the first person that I want to call, you know, because she just makes me. She's like my safe place, you know. So, yeah.
Okay, I can answer this. With my lifestyle, it can be very not only scary but dangerous for a relationship. Trust, it plays a big part in the things that I do, you know. I ain't gonna say career, but how I make my money. So I feel like because she trusts me first is important, and because she doesn't make me feel worthless after it all. And you know, I don't know if you're comfortable with this.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
But just to say, I am an entertainer, as well as me having my own business. I do work at a entertainment club called. So with her being strong enough to understand me and know that that's only work for me and nothing else, how I can still be spiritual, I can still be a mom, how I can still be a wife after I only been there for 4 hours a night, you know, is incredible. Because I've had some women in the past that I've dated, you know, that didn't accept my lifestyle, you know, who bashed me during arguments, made me feel low, but was okay with, you know, spending the money or doing things that they were comfortable with what was coming with it, but how should I say it, not comfortable with me, the person that I am. How should I say it?
They're like jealous.
Right.
They're jealous.
So for her to accept me, period, and trust me is absolutely amazing because I'm all for her 100%. And I don't go a whole lot. I go when we get ready to take a trip and I just want to play with money, or I need to go just so I don't lose my job, but I don't go all day, every day.
Yeah. It's hard for her to even go when I'm in town. Yeah. Like I'm out of the country for 9 to 10 months. So when I'm home for the 2 to 3 months,
I never want to go.
She don't want to go, you know. So.
But it's good to just keep myself busy, and it's fast money and it's quick.
If we want to keep our savings where it's at and not dig into it, then you gotta
for sure
keep putting back in what we take out.
Yeah, because it does make really good. I say we make really good money, but
I mean we do make
good money. I mean, but I'm saying like I was talking about from my perception, my profession, not you. Yeah, like I make really good money, which is able to maybe not all the way match her, but close to it. So it's good for both of us.
Yeah. Your love is the beat to my heart.
Oh, you get on my nerves.
Talk to me nice.
Your love is divine.
If your love story had a title, what would you name it and why?
The End of Beginnings. And why we both have endured a lot. We've been through a lot. We both had to start over in almost every aspect of our life. And with us being married and reaching our final destination, when you enter a marriage, everything starts over. So that is the end of the beginning of something special, something new, and something so great that you won't have to start over again.